Okay, I want to update you about what is going on with the Donald Trump child rape accusations. Yesterday, news broke that there would be a press conference with the woman claiming that Donald Trump raped her when she was 13 years old. Her new attorney is Lisa Bloom, and Lisa Bloom announced that there would be a major press conference. Now, this is the plaintiff who was going by the pseudonym Jane Doe. The expectation was she would appear in public with her attorney, Lisa Bloom. They would talk about the allegations. They would talk about everything that is going on. Quick reminder, this is the entire situation relating to the parties in 1994 thrown by billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, who has connections to both Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. The allegations are that at age 13, Jane Doe was raped by Donald Trump. There is a hearing scheduled for December 16th about this. Corporate media basically not covering it. So, first things first, this is the announcement that Lisa Bloom put out teasing this press conference, saying, woman who sued Donald Trump for child rape will appear for the first time and speak out with her new attorney, Lisa Bloom. Unfortunately, the press conference was then canceled and I guess maybe will be rescheduled, although we haven't heard yet for when. Here are some tweets from Erin Carmen, MSNBC and NBC national reporter, saying, quoting Lisa Bloom, we're going to have to reschedule. I apologize to all of you who came. I have nothing further. The press conference is off. And then also saying Jane Doe has received numerous threats today. She has decided she is too afraid to show her face. This press conference would have actually been a pretty big deal because, number one, it's the final days of this presidential campaign. At this point, we know that the results are going to come down to few voters in some very specific toss-up swing states. But this also has legal implications, and the cancellation due to death threats also has significant implications because the statute of limitations is actually up on civil and criminal actions as a general premise in this case. But what Jane Doe and her attorney are arguing is that the statute of limitations should be waived because there's an ongoing threat to the life of the plaintiff. So for the court to consider the case, they have to be convinced that the plaintiff, Jane Doe, has not come forward already because she was living in fear of retaliation from Trump or Epstein. The fact that they canceled due to threats makes that easier to believe, Pat, although, of course, the trumpeters are saying they're lying about the death threats.
And this case goes back 20 years. It's not an open and shut case by any means.
Yeah.
But when the right wing says that Hillary Clinton may face indictment as she's transitioning to power, it's important to point out that Trump does have a court date.
Every time that you hear the right, the trumpeters, apoplectic and going completely off the rails about the fact that at some point soon, based on unnamed sources, speaking generally, Hillary Clinton is getting indicted. Remember, there is a case against Trump University. Donald Trump has been sued many times, and it's not just all because he doesn't pay contractors, as bad as that is. It includes housing discrimination. And December 16th, there is a hearing in a child rape case against Donald Trump. Now, the Trump supporters, as Pat says, they say it's staged. They say that the allegations are fake. The death threats are non-existent. They also think the polls are fake. They think the election is rigged. So basically nothing exists according to them. And if you're one of the folks, I'm not because I understand this, but if you're one of the folks who says, why won't rape victims come forward sooner so that they're more credible? When you hear, including what we know about Trump's own legal counsel making threats in the past against Trump accusers, it's pretty easy to understand why you might not see the immediacy that maybe Trump supporters point to as something that would be more indicative of truth. I get it. I don't know that the Trumpsters get it. And to be perfectly honest, Pat, I don't know that this is going to be rescheduled before the election.
Right. Sometimes it just takes one woman or one person to come forward, and that will inspire a whole slew of people to come forward after them.
Yeah.
And that happened with Bill Cosby. It happened with Roger Ailes with sexual assault.
Yep.
I mean, and those guys weren't up for re-election or for election of a candidacy for president.
It's sort of sad to me at this point that we still hear that talking point from those who just have this general skepticism about sexual assault allegations when they say, why now? Why all of a sudden? It's suspicious that all of a sudden all these women are coming out. Well, not really. As we heard about with the Roger Ailes case, women were very upfront that for a long time they didn't say anything because, number one, they felt that it would have been very disadvantageous in terms of how it could further destroy their careers and therefore livelihood. We've heard from other women who said, I just wasn't going to say anything at all. But now that the door has been opened and the denials have started, it's not the allegations that are making me want to add my name to the list. It's the denials, which I find completely not credible because of the experience that I had. So I wish at this point in 2016, we weren't still dealing with, if you don't report a sexual assault immediately, it didn't happen. That's so old and tired and really, really disappointing to me. But unfortunately, you should look at my email. You should look at the YouTube comments that we get. You should look at the Facebook comments that we get. That fallacious meme is still all too common.
Gamefly is sort of like Netflix for video games. They have over 8,000 new and classic games for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, and a bunch of other platforms. And you can play as many games as you want for one monthly fee. And if you find some games you want to keep, you can buy them for a low used price. There's never any due dates or late fees. And our audience can get a free 30-day trial at gameflyoffer.com/TDPS. The games are shipped directly to you with return envelopes included. There's no contracts, and you can rent games through the mobile app. Get the free 30-day trial for the David Pakman Show audience and support our show by going to gameflyoffer.com/TDPS.